For you, first and foremost, congratulations are in order.
Thank you very much.
Were you surprised? You don't seem to have been surprised because you've been telling me all along, in fact, that you guys are going to win.
I was not surprised, but I was surprised by the margin of victory. I thought it would have been a much tighter race, and I have to say that I was completely shocked by the margin of victory in terms of the Electoral College.
Why do you think the media, and in fact, you might even add Wall Street, both got it wrong?
I think probably, if you look at the history, at least in recent history in terms of presidential races, there has not been a candidate so unique, should we say. Trump obviously did not fit the mold. He was, one could consider, a political amateur initially, and he found a way to stumble to the finish line. And I think many people were caught off guard by his determination and his hard work.
To what extent does this tell us about the apparent disconnect between the traditional political establishment right here in Washington, and indeed in several other capitals across the country, and the ordinary American voter?
Wow, that's a good question. I think probably every major news organization is going to have to probably revisit the way they extrapolate and review the news. Many times in the press, there's a lot of preaching but not practicing, and it's easy to sit and criticize than to get into the trenches. So I think it's probably been the press itself, or the media itself, probably needs to look inward to see how they can be more in touch with the everyday voter.
He kept talking about draining the swamp. Was that a code word for corruption in Washington or in government?
I think it is more of a discussion of addressing the political elite, and it's the feeling that Washington plays by one set of rules, and the people outside the Beltway live under another set of rules. So I think people were voicing their frustration. They were, the talk did not match the walk.
You know, when reporters, of course, were talking to people in the context of exit polls, what came out was, one, you're talking about the economy, of course, being stupid, and also, let's face it, security. But how come during the campaign, really, it didn't seem to be a campaign based on issues? You're talking about personalities, really. You're talking about character assassinating each other.
Well, it's all about likability. As I tell friends and clients, you can't do business with somebody you don't like, no matter how much you dislike them. So I think the likability factor at the end of the day is the prevailing factor. And I think if you like somebody, you find a way to compromise, you find a way to accept. And when you don't like somebody, even if they are the superior choice, many times people will settle for less. I think they prefer comfortability and likability versus sometimes competency.
You know, Joe, there is a saying that success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. So what happens to the establishment and the elite politicians who decided to stay away from now, of course, President-elect Donald Trump?
Well, I think Donald Trump's going to take the next few days. I spoke to some of his staff, and I think they're going to try to find a way to step back and let some of the campaign rhetoric settle, and they're going to revisit how I think they can unify the country, and I think even within the Republican Party, rather than cannibalize the party, I think they're going to try to find a way to consolidate. I think obviously they're going to do things the way Mr. Trump and Vice President-elect Pence would like, but I think, at least within the Republican Party, I think there'll be some consolidation, and with regard to the Democratic Party, there could be some political genocide going on as to what happens, whether it's the Obama clique, the Clinton clique, the Bernie Sanders clique. So both parties and both have a lot of inward soul-searching to do. But I think, at least for the Republicans, it's much easier to deal with victory. And obviously, when there's defeat, the medicine can be a bit strong at times. So it should be very interesting.
Thank you. Now we'll